There be no kind of peace like you beside me. No matter the rain, no matter the storm, I'm coming home.
Hi guys, welcome back to the vlog. I'm getting ready to tackle a project that has absolutely nothing to do with our dream home build. I decided to take a quick pause from that to do a fun project in my backyard this summer. When we bought this land, it was completely vacant, and every summer we've tried to add something. We've been working on the garden, and we built a chicken coop, and we put a fence, raised beds, all kinds of things. A few years ago, we built a backyard pavilion, and this summer I had an idea to add something else to our backyard. That's what I'm gonna start working on this week. So I came up with this idea because there's an area in our side yard, kind of kitty corner to our pavilion, where there's a hill, there's a few pear trees over there. It has the best views of our sunset. So it faces west, and I thought it would be so incredible if we had a spot out there to sit. And because we have the pavilion and we have so much seating in there, I didn't want to just put chairs out there on the hill or at a fire pit over there, just because we're planning on building a fireplace in the pavilion. And I started thinking, wouldn't it be cool to build a structure that could hold a porch swing, and that way we could sit out there in the evenings and just watch the sunset and listen to the birds and just relax. I decided we were gonna take a little break from working on the house this summer, take a weekend, and knock out this project. So Aaron and I sat down, designed something in SketchUp, just a really small structure. It's gonna have 4 corner posts, a little roof for some shade. I'm gonna build a bed swing, and we're gonna hang it from some rope. Now when it comes to the design of this, I wanted it to kind of mimic the chicken coop. So we're gonna be using cedar shakes for the roof. I would like to paint the entire structure white, the same color as our chicken coop, garden fence, pavilion. It's called Whisper White, and it's from Bear. And the other thing that I thought would look really nice is if I do paint the entire structure, including all of the rafters, it might look really pretty to add tongue and groove on the ceiling underneath the cedar shake. So when you're laying down in the swing, so you'll look up and see tongue and groove that's stained. And then there'll be a little bit of a contrast between the things that are painted white and then all of the wood. Now, once we got into designing it a little bit, I thought it would be really cool to not only use this structure for a daybed swing, but to build it in a way that we could use it multiple different ways. Not only are we gonna be able to hang a bed swing from it, but we're also gonna have hammock chair swings. So anytime that we're having kids over or family or friends, we can take down the bed swing and instead have 4 different chair swings hanging in there. They'll be in the shade. We're gonna be building it in the area of our yard where we always play our yard games. We've got horseshoe pits over there. We play cornhole over there and ladder golf and all kinds of stuff over on that side of the yard. So this will be a really good shady spot for people to just sit down, relax, hang out, maybe watch the people that are playing yard games, and just be in the shade. It's a very simple design. I think this would make a great addition to anybody's yard. I wanted to build something that our whole family could use, and then if younger kids do come over, they would still really enjoy hanging out on. This is gonna be a really fun project. I'm excited to get started. I love working on our dream home, but at the same time, we've been working on that for a really long time and haven't taken a break. So I'm excited just to work on a different project, you know. What I'm most excited about is getting to relax on it when it's all done. Some of my materials have come. So today I'm gonna start working on our outdoor covered swing. I'm not gonna do any building today. I'm gonna start off with sewing. My building materials haven't come in yet, but I do have everything I need, I think. Well, other than one thing, I'm gonna have to run to the store to get one thing. I do have enough to get started. So my plan is to start today by making the cover for the bed swing, and then if I get to it, I'm gonna sew all of the pillows. So what I have is a few really large inserts. The color of the fabric that I'm gonna be using is called Bliss Sand, and it's a sunbrella fabric. So it's made for outdoor. So for this swing, I'm gonna be using a full-size mattress that I already have. It's not an outdoor mattress, so I purchased a cover for it. It fully encloses the entire mattress. It has a zipper. It says that it is waterproof, bug-proof, all of the things. So I'm gonna get started by covering the mattress that I have. It's right here leaning up against the wall. I'm gonna lay it out and take some measurements and then get started on making the cover. So hopefully it doesn't take too long. The only thing that I need is elastic. So how I wanna sew this is I want it to look really fitted from the top and the sides, but underneath I want it to be kind of like a fitted sheet. I don't plan on adding a zipper or anything like that. I just want the elastic to hold it in place underneath. That way if I ever wanna take it off and wash it, I can. So here is the fabric. When I zoom up, you can kind of tell that it has a tan and almost like a dark gray pattern to it. But from a distance, it does look like a really neutral sandy tan color. So I think this will work good, especially with our dogs, because I know there's no way I'm gonna be able to keep them off of this, and if they hop up on it, it won't get ruined. It's showing up a lot lighter on screen, but in real life, it's kind of a tan. Now that the mattress cover is on, that took a minute, I've got my fabric, and the cool thing about upholstery fabric is it came in the exact width as my mattress. So the mattress is 54 inches, this fabric was 54 inches, and that means that I don't have to put a seam anywhere across the top. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna roll this out across the top of this bed and then cut it to length. And then I think what I'm gonna do is cut the side panels. I might add some piping. I've never done that before, but have some piping rope that was in my sewing kit, and I thought, I think this would look kind of nice if I added that little piping across the seams on the top and then maybe even down the corners. And I'm not a great seamstress by any means, but I do like to occasionally sew some things when I need something super custom like this. So I don't think I mentioned this, but I'm not following a pattern, obviously. I'm just gonna be making this up as I go. It's gonna be kind of trial and error, but I think we'll get it figured out. Now that I have that cut out, just do a little practice run and see how it looks. I think it's gonna make it look better. So I'm gonna take the cord and a swatch of fabric and make a little mock-up and pin it over on my seam and see how it looks. I have the first little practice piece done. I actually ended up sewing it the first time a little too loose, I think. So I went through and I did a second pass. So I'm gonna pin this up and see how it looks. Okay, so if you could just imagine that the pins aren't here and this was a top panel and a side panel sewn together. I think this little piping detail adds a little something. I think it looks really nice. So I am going to make one really long piece. That way it doesn't have any seams in it and it can just start in one corner and go all the way around the cushion and then end in the same spot. So we only have one seam. The next thing I need to do is get my side panels. What I decided to do was roll the fabric out the full length of the mattress. That way I knew I had the length I needed for both sides. I folded it in half and then in half again. Once I cut this part and this part, I will have 4 panels the full length of the mattress, which will be long enough for both sides, but it'll give me extra length for both the top and the bottom of the mattress. So I'll have plenty to go all the way around. Then I'm gonna seam it on each corner. All right, I am back. It is the next day and I had an appointment in town this morning, so I was able to pick up all the elastic that I need so I can finish this bed cover. I'm very close to having this done. As soon as I do get it finished, I'm going to sew the pillows. I already cut the fabric to length, but I always get a little extra fabric just in case I make a wrong cut. So I have enough to make 5 pillows, which is awesome. I think 5 will look better than 4 anyway across the back. I'm gonna be using inserts that I already have, and those are 24 by 24. So I'm gonna put the camera down and get sewing. So I just finished pinning all of the cording all the way around, and then I also added all of these side panels. So when I run this through the sewing machine, it's gonna have the top layer, the cording in the middle, and then this side panel here. When I got to the corners, I just folded them in and pinned them in place. So this will probably take a little while. I'm gonna go slow and steady just to make sure that I don't make any mistakes and that this is really, really straight. I would hate to get done and then have like the cord, you know, crooked or a little wonky in there. So I'm gonna take my time. Good morning, guys. It is so bright out here. I'm gonna have to grab a hat, but we are outside starting our covered swing project. It's such a nice day out, so we thought we'd get out here early. Aaron's gonna dig all 4 of the holes. I think he's gotta go like 3 or 4 feet deep, and that's what we're gonna set our posts in. We're gonna add bags of concrete and water down in there so we can make sure those are really, really secure. And Aaron's gonna go through the cut list and make some cuts because he has to use his really big saw for that, and it's a little too heavy for me to handle. So he's gonna make some of those cuts. While he's doing that, I'm gonna work on priming and painting some of the wood that's going up on the roof part. That way I don't have to use a sprayer. I find that when I'm out here on the hill and it's windy and I use a sprayer, I end up using like 4 times, sometimes 5 times the amount of paint that I would have if I would have just painted it. So what I'm gonna do is lay everything out on sawhorses, get everything primed and painted. Once it's dry, we're gonna build the structure. So that's what we're gonna work on for the next couple of days. So Aaron's been working away. He's so stinking strong. He did all of this with the post hole digger, but he's got all 4 holes dug, ready to go. So we're gonna grab our corner posts and the concrete and run a hose out here and get these posts set. Alright, I just finished painting all of these posts. I've got a coat of primer, a coat of paint. I'll do a touch-up coat of paint later after we build the whole roof structure, so I'm sure I'll have to touch it up a little bit. But since these are done now, I'm gonna head up to the garage. Aaron's been up there cutting everything that we need to length, so I'm gonna go and paint the ridge beam and all of the beams that go around the perimeter to hold up the roof. Good morning, everybody. Day 2 of working on our swing project. So where we left off, it was got everything cut and everything painted, well, primed, painted, 2 coats. Now that we let it sit overnight, everything's dry and ready to assemble. So we've got to carry all of this because we're over here by the garden and we've got to walk all the way around the cottage and to the backyard where the swing's gonna go.
So right here we've got some of the rafters. We've only got 4 there. And then these are going to be the cross beams. Aaron notched them out here on the ends. You can see it'll make more sense when you see us put it together. Then over here we've got the tie members that are going to go in the center, and these are the cross beams on the short end, and then we've got all the other rafters, and then down there we've got the bridge beam. So here I have the assortment of all of the different outdoor accents we're going to be using. These are from Simpson Strong-Tie. We have all kinds of angle brackets, fasteners, structural screws. We've got a ton of hex head washers. We're also going to be using the L straps for a 6x and L straps for a 4x, as well as T straps, which you can't see. They're under here, and a lot of other fasteners. Outdoor accents are pretty awesome because they're all powder coated, so we don't have to worry about rusting.
Although we've used Simpson Strong-Tie structural screws, brackets, fasteners, and connectors for years and years, this is the first time I've used the Outdoor Accents Avant Collection on a project. The black powder coat is such a clean look. It makes for a beautiful contrast between the white structure and all of the fasteners and brackets. The white frame really makes these outdoor accents stand out. Here you can see Aaron is just marking out where all of the rafters are gonna go before he lifts that huge treated 6x6 post up into place. And now I'm just filling my tool pouch with the washer and fastener combo before attaching these L straps to all 4 corners. I didn't film this part, but I did use a torpedo level and a pencil to just kind of mark where they needed to go to make sure that they would be perfectly level, especially since there's such a contrast between the white and the powder coated L strap. After I had all 4 corners done, I grabbed a T-strap and attached the center post that's going to hold the ridge beam in place. After we had the ridge beam secure, it was time to put up all of the rafters. Aaron used the inside corner brackets to attach all of those on either side, and then he went back later and attached more on the bottom.
Go grab my paint and a paintbrush and do a little bit of touching up. I noticed that this 6x6 that goes across is a little rounded, and when I was painting it before on the ground, I didn't get full coverage on that side. So I'm gonna go across the top of this beam here, make sure I've got that all painted.
It's time to work on the swing project. Again, the next step, I don't even think I shared this with you guys, but one of the materials that we ordered the day that everything came in and they let us know that it was in store and we could come pick it up, they sent us an email saying that our tongue and groove that we needed for the ceiling was on back order. And so of course we got online and we checked all of the other stores and nobody has it. For some reason, this specific tongue and groove that we needed is just not available right now. So we decided we're just gonna pivot. We went out last night and we bought a bunch of 2x6s and a router table. So instead, I decided I'm going to make it. Now, I've never made tongue and groove before, neither has Aaron, but we figured how hard could it be? We might as well give it a try. There's no way we wanna wait until the end of summer for these materials. So that's what we're working on next. I'm gonna move all of the lumber from the garage to outside. I've got a few different colors of stain because I'm gonna be staining these instead of painting them. I thought it would look really pretty when you're laying in the daybed. I thought it would look really nice if you looked up and there was a contrast between stain, tongue and groove, and the white rafters. So I've got to stain all of the boards. Before I do that, I've got to pick a color. I've got a few different colors of stain out in the garage, and chances are I think I'm gonna end up mixing two because one looks a little bit too cool
The other one looks a little too warm, and I think if I mix them together, it could make a really pretty neutral brown. So I'm gonna give that a try on some scrap wood. All right, so the first color that I have here is a weathered oak, and this color is looking pretty gray, a lot more gray than I anticipated. The other color that I got is called classic gray, which is definitely gonna be gray. I was actually worried this one was gonna be too warm, so I guess we'll test it out and we'll see. Really not doing a lot. It's definitely taking a little bit of the yellow out of the pine, which is good. I don't want it to be yellow at all, but I think I might have to go back and get another color, like maybe something a little warmer, like early American, because this really isn't doing much. I'm gonna try the other one. Okay, this one doesn't look gray at all. Let me get my other stir stick. That is really weird. All of the sediment is on the bottom of this can. I don't like either of these at all. They're both way too gray. I'm gonna go in the garage and get my other colors and test those out and see if one of those will be an option. I found a can in the garage that's almost entirely full. The color is dark walnut, so we'll see if this works. If not, I might mix it with the weathered oak and see if I can get the color that I'm looking for. Ideally, I would mix all three of these stains in a 1 gallon bucket, but do I have a 1 gallon bucket? No, but I have a 5 gallon bucket, so that's what I'm gonna use. Each of the cans that I had were almost completely full, so I mixed all 3 cans together equal parts. The colors that I have here are dark walnut, weathered oak, and classic gray. I just brought all of my pine 2x6s out and set them all out on my sawhorses. This is a little hack, you guys. I always get a cardboard box and I put my paint or my stain or whatever I need in that cardboard box whenever I'm working outside. It really helps keep grass or dirt out of the box, and it helps my paint or stain not spill. If I were just to set it in the grass, it would spill. So as you could see, I just used a paintbrush to get all of this stain evenly spread on the boards, and then I used a rag to wipe off any extra stain. And I ended up only staining the one side of these boards because we were gonna run these boards on both ends through the router table to make our tongue and groove. You can see here each board had to go through once on the one side and then twice on the other side. Once we had all of these 2x6s routered out, I did go back with my stain and a rag and make sure to get both of those ends just in case there's ever any separation, because you know, wood expands and contracts and this will be outside, so I wanted to make sure that if it separated at all, we wouldn't be able to see any of that wood that wasn't stained. Once Aaron was done cutting off the ends of all the rafters, we started installing all of the tongue and groove, and then I touched up all the primer and paint on the ends of those rafters. This part was my favorite because it was just so fun to watch all of that stained tongue and groove that we made go up on those white rafters. I had hoped that it would look good, but this really popped, and I was really happy with how it turned out. Now, all of these were 12-foot 2x6s, but they're not exactly the same length, so we chalked a line and Aaron got up on the roof and cut the end off. You guys, I am so happy with how the ceiling turned out. It looks so good with those brackets. The next thing we had to do was install all of the white drip edge before we could put the waterproofing on. So I worked down on the ground and I cut the waterproofing, and then I would climb up the scaffolding, hand them to Aaron, and we'd make sure to get it perfectly straight before he would nail them in with his roofing nail gun. And then for the roof, you guys know me, I chose cedar shakes again. I have them on the chicken coop and I just love how they age and look weathered over time. So we decided to use those on this roof as well.
getting ready to build the porch swing, and I'm thinking about working in the pavilion because it keeps raining, like sprinkling on and off. And I was thinking if I move these tables close together, I could use them as a workbench instead of working over where I was in the shades.
When I call her up to say I'm in town, I get a notion that we both wound. Been traveling all over, searching far and away for a sign to lead me straight. We walk together down the streets of our home. It's been forever, a long time that I've been gone. The feelings come easy as we start a new day, and I know what I should say.
I am out here finishing the swing bed. I've got this 7/8 dowel rod because I'm going to use it to plug some of these holes that we sunk these screws into on the ends. I've got 2 on all 4 of the 4x4 posts. I'm going to glue it and then put the dowel rod in there and then cut it off, sand it, and it should be good to go. And then I'm gonna also fill any of the other screws that are showing with some wood filler, some white wood filler. And then I'm gonna sand everything down that needs to be sanded and give it one final coat. That's what I'm up to right now. I can't wait to get this done. Erin already cut the rope to length, so as soon as I get this done and it's dry, we can hang it up. Wow guys, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm out here on our bed swing. It's completely finished and hung up. I think this is gonna be my new favorite spot for sure. Like I explained before, not only can we hang the daybed swing in this area, but we can also fit 4 hammock chairs in there too, which is going to be so much fun to swap out the bed swing for these anytime the younger kids are coming over. After we got it done, 3 of my sweet nieces came over to try them out, and I have to say they thought they were pretty cool too. So I think I said this before, but we love working on the house, but it's been a long 1.5 years. Just been working on the house every single evening and weekends, and we've just been pushing really, really hard. It felt good to take a pause on the house and just build something fun for our yard. I'm so glad that we took the time to do this. I know what I'm gonna be doing tonight. Hanging out right here, watching the sunset. This is one of the best projects I think we've ever done. Good night.
For better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. There's
This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore. 7 years now on this boat, and we all know